Well, I made 60K from one podcast episode, and on this short training, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I did it. Here's the thing. As entrepreneurs, what a lot of us need more than anything else is to get eyes on our content. Actually, I would say that there's two things that we want to happen. We want to make sure that we're creating content that is great at allowing you to essentially convert the people that are paying attention to you or coming across your information. And then the second thing that we want to do is we want to get more eyes or more qualified eyes in front of our content, right? At the end of the day, if you're a coach or you're an expert or you're an entrepreneur, really what you're selling is essentially a little bit of your knowledge, but also a little bit of who you are and how you're showing up. So when we're doing that and we're really able to communicate our value and show our expertise and show these different parts of us that, convey our message, it really allows us to grow our business. So, what I want to walk you through today are some of the things that I did to be able to really grow my business, but specifically to go on this amazing podcast last year. From one episode alone, I've been able to generate over $60,000 and probably counting, because I literally just enrolled somebody from that podcast episode just a couple of weeks ago. So what I find is that podcasting is really an absolutely amazing tool to help you grow your business, and something that you really want to incorporate into your own marketing strategy as much as you possibly can, right? People who are listening to podcasts tend to be great fits because they tend to be really premium clients. So what I mean is that not necessarily like these are millionaires, but people who are listening to podcasts are people that are seeking for education and seeking for growth and actively looking for solutions to the problems that they're facing, right? They're already consuming information and trying to do more, and to find more to move forward into solving the problem that they have. So I personally started podcasting in 2022. And just sort of kind of casually started to incorporate that strategy into my business and kind of to understand, well, will this work? Will this not work? And then what really has happened has been absolutely powerful, because I've been able to really grow my business. And in fact, this is one of the things that I'm really focused, and if you're a client of mine, you know this, I'm really focused on getting my clients to do more and more. How do we do more podcasting? How do we get in front of more people? How do we show what we are capable of? How do we show our knowledge and our experiences and all of the different things that make us who we are, right? So that's really one of the things that I'm focused on more. And today I want to walk you through how to do that. So the first thing that we want to do is find the podcast that we want to go as guests, right? There's a variety of ways of doing this effectively. You can Google it up. Literally a couple of weeks ago, I sent an email to one of my clients with 80 podcast episodes that she could go to. She is a doula, so a birthing doula. And I found her a list of all of these amazing podcasts that she could apply to go to as guests, right? So you want to find that list. You could do that through Google. You could do that through Apple Podcasts. One of the places that I like to focus on is an app or software, or I guess a website called Podmatch. I'll add the links below so that you guys can sign up for it afterwards, because it's really, really powerful. And I'm going to go ahead and actually share screen to show you what I am doing with Podmatch. So let me show you right now. Okay, here we go. So Podmatch is really cool because it has all of these podcasts, as you can see here, that are actively looking for guests right now. And, one of the things that you can do, let me turn this banner off. One of the things that you can do with the Podmatch is really look, okay, what is your topic? So if your topic is branding like mine, I can go in here and see all of these podcasts that, as you guys can see here, that are showing or that are talking about branding, and that I could potentially pitch myself to go on as a guest, right? So you want to kind of go in and look at that profile to see if this is something that's a match for you. Podmatch has like a variety of options. The one that I have shows you how many downloads per episode they have, how many social followers they have, and that allows me to see if these are people that are a good fit for me. You could also click through to listen to the podcast or go to the website or go to their Instagram and just find out a little bit more about them. So once you found that podcast, what you want to do is essentially send them a message where you're pitching yourself to these people, right? And obviously for that, you want to have a lot of clarity around what your message is. What are the things that you're going to be talking about? Why are you valuable for their audience? Why are you somebody that's going to be worth it for them to be on their show, right? That you're going to give them value. You're going to be able to show up in a different way. And I'll explain this in a second, a little bit more. And then within Podmatch, one of the things that you can do as well is create your profile where you're talking about what it is that you do, some ideas for the episode, some of the questions that people can ask, and all of that. If you're not using Podmatch, one of the things that I like doing as well, and I do it for me and for my clients' pages when I'm doing websites for them, is create a press page within your website, right? Where, you have your information of like who you are, some of the interview topics, how many, like your data or whatever, and some examples of podcasts that you've been to in the past or wherever you've been featured, or all of these different things. So I think that having a page like this can also be really helpful in getting you booked, because if you're not using Podmatch because you're like, I don't want to pay for Podmatch, or I don't want to do something like that, I just want to straight up just pitch myself to these podcasts. Well, you can create a page like this for yourself where you're revealing what it is that you do and all these different things. And then that's going to really allow you to stand out for these people, right? Obviously, I think that this is a really powerful tool to have. And then the most important thing, though, is, well, there's a few different things that are really important in terms of podcasting. First, the pitch has to be really good. So a lot of these podcasts are getting a lot of people pitching, even if you do use Podmatch or you use a different strategy or a different platform, that whatever it is that you're using, right? A lot of these, platforms, like they're getting them a lot of people booking in or pitching themselves. So you want to make sure that your pitch sounds different, that you're really telling people why are you the person that's going to give them some additional value in a unique way or whatever. So that's what I would recommend. The other thing that's really important is for you to really shine in that interview. So what happened in the interview that I did specifically, the one that has generated for me over $60,000, let me turn this on again, is that I really was able to shine in that interview. I showed up and delivered my best content ever. I'll link the podcast episode below so you guys can hear it afterwards. It's the Mind of George podcast. I was really like showing up in my most magnetic self. I was shining. I was on fire. I was showing up with real power and authenticity and gave so much great value in it that it made a massive difference. So for this strategy to work, for you to go ahead and do podcasting, have great results for it, you need to make sure that you have a lot of clarity in your message. If you're showing up and doing a podcast that sounds like every single other person, or doing an interview where you're giving the same tips that everybody else is giving, it's not going to give you results. Like you're not going to get anything ever out of that, because you're going to be just one more coach saying the same thing. So having a lot of clarity in your message is crucial for you to get those results as well. If you want help on that, I actually have a training on readytoinvestclients.com that walk you through 3 secrets to be able to communicate and attract those ready to invest people into your business, to position yourself as an authority, and how to really clarify your own message. So go to readytoinvestclients.com for that. But really, like I was saying, more than anything else, what you really want to make sure that you're doing is having a lot of clarity in your message and making sure that the things that you're saying on that podcast are fire. And a lot of times people think, well, my messaging comes down to like what's written on my website or the email that I'm sending or the content that I'm sharing on social media. But really how you speak your message matters more than anything else. The more magnetism that you bring, the more fire that you bring, the more authenticity that you bring, the more uniqueness that you bring to share what you're saying, like meaning like, what is your angle? What is your point of view? What is a unique way of looking at things that nobody else out there is talking about, right? We really want to make sure that we convey that message in a very clear and compelling way so that we're able to attract the people who are ready to invest. Like, how do we speak to those people? You also want to make sure that at the end of that podcast episode, you have something to offer, whether it's a PDF, it's a webinar, it's a training, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what it is. is, but you want to make sure that there's something specific that you're offering at the end that will allow you to get these people who will go to the podcast to sign up to your email list and then have a very clear customer journey that drives those people in. That being said, that thing that you're signing up your audience for, whether it's a PDF, whether it's a webinar, whether it's a VSL, whatever it is that you're doing, has to have that core message that is extremely powerful, like I mentioned, that will really take people from like, oh, okay, I heard you on a podcast, to saying, here's $10,000, here's $20,000. I want to hire you right now. That is literally what happened to me through the podcast that I did specifically. Obviously, I've been on many podcasts since then, but I can track those sales specifically to the Mind of George podcast, right? These people came to me and they were ready to pay in full and go at my highest program possible, like the one where I'm building websites for my clients as well. So you want to make sure that that message is really powerful, that if you do have a webinar like I do, and like I mentioned, it's this one, the readytoinvestclients.com, like that training has to be fire. It has to be really good and really compelling, like the one that I have is, right? So you want to make sure that that's going on so that you turn the people that are viewers into clients. You turn these people from like, or listeners into like, okay, I'm definitely interested to find out more. So hopefully all of this is helping you and giving you some ideas and getting you excited about podcasting. One of the things that I can help you with is by getting you clarity on your own brand message. For that, go to brandmessagesession.com. What we do is we hop on a 15-minute call with you and we will evaluate your current brand message and give you highly specific tips, strategies, things that you can immediately implement into your brand and your message like right away so that you can get results from it. So this is not some sales call. That's not what this is about. This is a value-based call where we will allow you or help you to get a lot of clarity in your message. Go to brandmessagesession.com for that. Hopefully all of this has been helpful. Make sure that you follow me at Fabi Paolini everywhere. Comment below, what were some of your main takeaways from this episode? What are the things that you've learned and what you want me to talk about in the next episode? Hopefully this is all helpful. I can't wait to hear about how you are crushing it using podcasts, and I will see you next time. Ciao, ciao, mi gente. Hope to see you soon.